What? Green people, you are watching the Gopher and Chuck show. This is the intro and later's the outro. If we fuck up, we will scream like an alto. If you love it, you should leave a comment. Yo, subscribe though. Like though. Share though. What you here for?
The video begins!
So it was still heading upwards. Oh, okay.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Okay, I was actually just trying to look at the
Religion was
belly.
another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Okay, is there... Oh, a window.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal, but it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Right, there's no death date on this door. For whatever reason. Well, this is pretty separate from the main house.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay. So the paintbrush brings what he draws to life. Okay, he's... Oh! So apparently that's what happened to him. Are we supposed to do the same?
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Is there a paintbrush to do that with? We can go back down. I think that's what I meant to do.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Okay, I'm going to assume I have to go out.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Music is nice.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
I got a... Excuse you. I got a trophy then, which I assume is for looking through all the... Oh, we're not going that way. For looking through all the peepholes.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Yeah, your mind doesn't want to wonder if there's a...
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth.
I think I meant to carry on doing the fish thing at the same time. Not that way.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
We could just, yeah.
And things that have not names.
But I look like a
I
dragon.
knew it was all in his head.
Dragons have names. Am I meant to? Yeah, there we go.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Oh, cool.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Like a zombie.
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
This artwork thing that's going on here
Encouraged him.
is pretty cool.
It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
I think this is meant to be the fish that I cut. No? Okay.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
Oh, up here. Okay. I thought I was another fish to cut up.
He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Well, it's a good job we can't crash.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go
That one's a
home from Canada.
stretch.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Well, we're sailing this way now.
handsome queen.
I didn't actually make that decision. The boat just seemed to refuse to move the way that I would have liked it to move.
The queen was on her own quest for...
Let's go serpents.
sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her
Silver harp, we'll go for.
silver harp.
I missed a note. It's probably going to be a trophy.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
I love the way the art's
who's never
actually
known success and
evolving
freedom.
the more he's imagining this.
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh, we're back in the cannery.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
What am I supposed to do? Oh well, I can go up here.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Oh, that's a guillotine. Oh!
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Damn!
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Is that?
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
So is this?
But I understand why we left. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Ah, Edith.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
Now we're actually going to see
I
it.
never thought I'd go back to it.
Yeah, really up close.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
I'm just going to try and keep heading the way I was.
I got turned around.
Oh.
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
It's not the same deer as the one that killed Sam, is it?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Here we are.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
Give me the letters. Give me the letters, you coward!
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
So, I should probably say some words. Oh, the dog. The dog. That was really cool. Especially the deeper you get into it, and the way the stories of these characters are told in different styles, the comic book, the bath play, the cannery imagination thing was incredible. A really cool way of telling a story. And there's still questions about some of these characters. Some of them it's obvious how they died. Edith at the end there obviously died during the childbirth. I forget his name, but the baby drowned. Molly, I'm not sure. I don't know if she choked on something, maybe, because she was talking about eating a lot. Or maybe she starved, I don't know. But they don't seem like the kind of people that would allow a child to starve. You know, it's a weird family, but I don't think it's that kind of family, so I don't think that's what happened. I also don't think a monster ate her. I don't think monsters ate Barbara either. I think that's meant to be a metaphor for something. Maybe the fame that she'd lost got to her. Maybe that was a suicide. I think a few of them are meant to be suicides. Barbara, for sure. Walter maybe, I feel like he wasn't accidentally hit by a train. I think he knew. But yeah, really impressed with that. Why do these games always have a really sad, melancholic... I mean, it's a sad, melancholic game, but like To the Moon has that piano thing going on. This has got this. But I think Spyro 2 is the next thing that's going to be up on the channel. Because I'm actually playing this after I played that. This is meant to go after Spyro 1. So yeah. I'm messing with the laws of time here. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.
We're done? Okay. Well, y'all had your fun, now the video's over. Like, share, subscribe, play the video over. Click on that bell to be notified when we post vids from sun to fry. Oh no, don't forget Sat, we'll be here all week. Bring your ass back. Now watch another video, y'all.